The NBA season is a bit over a quarter of the way done. So today I'm going to be doing a tier list of teams that have the least to the greatest chance of making the NBA Finals and winning the championship. Since there is 30 teams in the NBA and there are 5 different tiers, I'm going to try and do about 6 teams for each tier. So I think I'm going to try and start with the top teams that I think have the greatest chance of making the NBA Finals and winning the championship. So I think an automatic one up there would be the Golden State Warriors, as I think they have the best record in the league at the moment. And, they're getting Clay soon, so there isn't really a sign of them slowing down anytime soon. After the Warriors, I would then put the Suns, who pretty sure are the second team in the Western Conference at the moment. Chris Paul has been doing really good helping Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, and all those other players the last couple of years. I mean, last year they made the finals. They didn't end up winning, but I think that was just the start of the greatness for the Suns in the future. After the Suns, maybe a team from the Eastern Conference, I'd put the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, the Nets, they have Kevin Durant and James Harden, and they might even get Kyrie Irving back later in the year. If that happens, then I definitely put them as favorites if they have that big three. But even just with Kevin Durant leading their team, they have a really good chance. The next team is the Milwaukee Bucks. They, of course, won the championship last year, and they're still a very dominant team, and they're among the top in the NBA for their record. I'm going to put 2 more teams up here, and I think I'm going to do the LA Clippers. So the final team that I'd put in the top tier, I might have to put the Lakers. And even though they have a pretty terrible record at the moment, and well, it's not even terrible, it's just terrible for their expectations. I think they're 6th in the West at the moment. They're really close to the Clippers and Grizzlies, and people aren't really saying that the Clippers are playing terribly, so I don't think there's a reason to necessarily say that the Lakers are doing too bad. I think it just shows that they have a lot of room for improvement. And once they get their chemistry going a bit better and get used to Russell Westbrook and LeBron James, gets back to full strength and is completely healthy, I think the Lakers would definitely be in the top of the league for teams that could win the championship. So I think for the next tier, I would put the first team I'm going to put is the Nuggets. They are in 8th place right now in the Western Conference. They are only a game back from the Lakers, only a game and a half back from the Clippers. I think the Nuggets, I think they're a really great all-around team. I really like Nikola Jokic, and I think he's going to be the MVP of the league this year. I'm going to be doing a video about that very soon. And even with their, 13-13 record right now, the Nuggets lost 6 games in a row, and I think Jokic was gone for a couple of those games. So, even if they won 4 of those 6 games, then I'm pretty sure they'd be ahead of the Clippers, Lakers. I think they'd be in 4th place or maybe even 3rd place if they won those games. So the next team I'd put on the A tier list is the Mavericks, and I think that's because I don't think you can count Doncic out, and he always does really well in the playoffs. The next team is the Utah Jazz. The Jazz are really underrated because, they play in Salt Lake City, which is maybe the smallest population city for the NBA. And they've just always been underrated, it seems, for the last couple of years. But they have a really good team led by Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. I wouldn't be surprised if they made a deep playoff run. So I think they'll have a good record in the regular season, but when it gets to the playoffs, depending on who they play, they could be a first-round exit. The next team I'm going to put on this list is the 76ers. I don't think you can count the 76ers completely out. I don't think that they're going to win the championship, but they're definitely one of the top teams in the league. I think they're in the 6th place right now in the Eastern Conference. Maybe they'll get Ben Simmons back, or at least if a trade happens, then they'll get another really good player, which will add to their team, and their record will only get better throughout the season. The next team that I'd put here is the Chicago Bulls. I think they're an underrated team. They will only improve throughout the season, as the team has only, got together a couple months ago. Who knows? Maybe they can make a good playoff run. And they are 3rd in the East right now. They're only 2 games back from the Nets, so it's pretty impressive. The next team is the Miami Heat. They have the 4th best record in the East at the moment. And I think also they have a really good all-around team. Who knows, maybe they can make a deep playoff run like they did 2 years ago. So then the next couple of teams, I'm going to put the Grizzlies, who are probably people are going to think are a bit low on this list, considering that they are third place in the Western Conference, or fourth place in the Western Conference at the moment. It'll be interesting to see how they play and if they actually do well once the playoffs hit. I'm then going to put the Celtics. The Celtics aren't playing the best right now. They're one of the bottom teams in the East, but I think as the season goes on, they'll probably click. And Jason Tatum is a good player, and maybe he'll lead their team to the playoffs. The next team is the Minnesota Timberwolves. I don't think the Timberwolves have made the playoffs in like 15 years or something. I think they're tied for the longest playoff drought ever in the NBA. You know, Anthony Edwards was a great pickup for their team, and I think he brought a lot of energy and life into the team. Then I think the Portland Trailblazers, Damian Lillard himself is, I think, enough to do pretty well. Then I'm going to put the Hawks. The last team on the B tier, I'm going to put the Cleveland Cavaliers. Then for the C tier, I'm going to do the Raptors. I'd also put the Knicks. The Knicks last year were the 5 seed in the East. They're doing a bit worse this year, but we'll see what happens with them. Then the Hornets. The Hornets are obviously a very energetic team. Then the Wizards. I think the Wizards are actually they're the 7th team in the East right now. The final 2 teams on the C tier, I'm going to put the Spurs, and then I'm going to put the Pacers as well, because the Pacers, they have good players, and I thought they'd be doing a lot better. Then, the final 6 teams, the D tier, Rockets, they're not playing well. Pelicans, Zion, I don't know what's happening with Zion. And then the Thunder, Magic, Pistons, Kings. So that's it for the tier list. Let me know what you think of my rankings, and remember to like this video and subscribe to my channel to show your support. Thanks for watching.